I know the whole secondary has been better since the bye, but William Jackson, fewer penalties, more production. What have you seen out of him since that bye week, and maybe what's changed or improved for him?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've just stayed about our business, continued to prepare well. The whole group, communication's a little sharper, and we've played with a little more confidence. So I think, William, is a big part of it. Obviously, is the starting corner. So it's great to see him. We're going to need more of it, over the next, 5 weeks that we have left in the regular season.
Ron always talks about Williams' unique skill set. What are some of the skills that he has that are maybe superior to some other corners around the league?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a tremendous combination of size, speed, foot quickness, body control, So, he's been continuing to work and learn how we do things and where he belongs, and he's been much more consistent in terms of being, where we need him.
Hey, Jack. Dallas is the #1 offense in the NFL. Do you feel like this kind of a benchmark for your defense to kind of see you guys stack up against the best offense in the NFL?
Yeah, we played some really good offenses. This is another one. So it's a challenge. Obviously they're very talented. They've got a big offensive line, got a real capable quarterback. Backs, two backs, and skill people. Really tremendous skill people. So yeah, it's a big challenge. They're putting up some big numbers, and it's up to us to get them slowed down and give our team a chance to win.
And when you're facing a team with all these weapons, how do you manage or try to balance or approach an offense that has a lot of weapons like they do?
Do the best we can. We'll put a plan together, and go compete. That's where we are. We understand their weapons, the things they like to do, and we need to make sure that we take that away.
You guys didn't get to see Dak last year because he was injured. What does he bring to their offense? I know he's really good, but what have you seen?
Sorry, I didn't hear the start of that.
Since Dak Prescott was injured last year, you're facing him. What have you seen out of his play, and what's kind of the challenges he presents?
You talking about Dak?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's very, very talented guy. I was at their training camp a couple of years ago, when I had a year off. And I was working with ESPN, and I was very impressed with not just the athlete, because everybody knows he's an athlete, but the leadership, some of the toughness that he showed. Those are the things that really stood out that day when I saw him in person. And it's great to see him back. For a great player to be back and healthy and playing, you're always happy to see that. Looking forward to competing this weekend.
When you were there, was your mind still kind of working like a coach? Were you kind of watching him through a coach's eyes?
No, I was there basically scouting, learning, continuing to stay in the game. I went to several camps, and that was one of them. So, but like I said, very impressed with Dak.
Ron talked about on Monday how you've evolved over the course of the season. How do you think, or how would you describe the evolution of this year?
I would just say that we continue to work as a staff. We've got a great staff. We work well together. Our job is to understand how teams want to try and attack us and who we have available and how we can best utilize them. And so we've worked hard at that. Our players, like I said, have continued to work hard at the process, the urgency to prepare, to really refocus each week on the task at hand, understand the things they like, do our best to take some of those away. Working on the fundamentals. This time of year in December, it's really about fundamentals. So all of those things kind of come into play, and we've been working hard at it, and I'm proud of the way we've worked and are continuing to work now.
So it's less about how you've evolved as a coach necessarily, and more about how the defense has evolved.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Yeah. So it's less about how you've evolved specifically as a coach, and more about how the defense has evolved in the scheme. Is what you're saying.
We're all tied together.
Okay.
So I'm not evolving by myself. You know, I mean, I think we work at it as a staff. You know, you grow. We have relationships. We challenge each other in our meetings, and then we're prepared when we go in front of the players. It's tight. We're able to convey the plan, teach the plan, understand it, and I think we're doing that at a higher level as the season has gone on, and that's the goal. I mean, you know, you don't hand out prizes at the quarter mark or at the halfway mark. You know, we're fighting best we can to win each week. This week we need to get win number 7, and you know, the ultimate goal is find our way into the tournament and give ourselves a chance. But right now it's 1 week at a time, 1 game at a time, 1 play at a time.
If I can ask one more follow-up, what do you attribute to doing that at a higher level now?
Just a combination, a culmination of all the work. Stay in the course. I think, you know, you could approach it a lot of different ways. You could fragment. You know, you could when you face adversity, you could separate and not continue to work and grind at the details. We've had some injuries. We have not blinked about that. We've put the next guy in, expected that guy to play well. And as a team, we're doing all we can to help each other and find a way to win.
Hey, Jack, obviously John Allen's had a really good year production-wise on the field, but as a locker room leader, he also seems to stand out in that regard as well. How is his attitude, his seriousness, as it seems, how has that helped this defense this year?
Well, John's a guy that has put together a good year and is having production on the field, and he works hard at it and takes a lot of pride in the way he approaches it every day. So I think, you know, you're always happy to see that occur.
I guess you see that rubbing off on other guys. They see him, how hard he works, how serious he takes it, and maybe helps them do the same.
Well, you like to think that, you know, guys that are leaders are setting the example and setting the tone for the rest of the building. So, you know, I think, you know, clearly it's a positive thing when that occurs.
Hey, Jack. How have your young ends held up? Smith, Williams, and Tuhill, and Shaka, and I think Wise got some snaps the other day as well.
Yeah. They're excited. I mean, one thing you get, you know, obviously Chase and Montez are supremely gifted. We miss them. We'd like to have them. But the other guys are excited about their opportunity to play. And so I think, you know, we're seeing some of that, you know, their excitement, their eagerness to do their job, to take care of business, and to allow our football team to continue to go at next man up mentality. And they've been next, and they've done a great job of preparing hard and playing hard, and that's all we ask of our guys. You know, dive into your preparation, understand your role, and compete to the best of your ability. And if you're bringing that force and we're all doing that together, then good things happen.
Have they been able to stay disciplined with gap control and some of the other things that they may have to do on a consistent enough basis that, you know, you're comfortable with them out there with big plays or big parts of the rotation?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's next man up. We expect every person that goes in there to do their job to the best of their ability, prepare hard, understand, take the coaching, and then go out and play. And that's what they're doing. They're going out and they're playing hard. And I think what you get, sometimes you lose maybe a little bit of talent level, but you're getting eagerness and excitement. Guys are getting their first chance to play in a long time, you know, a lot of different reps. And so I think they're very excited about that opportunity. So all we ask them to do is do their job.
Changes or improvements have you seen in Antonio even since the bye?
You know, you've seen glimpses of it throughout the season, and he's really coming into his own as far as just playing with the physicality that you look for in a 230-pound plus back. I mean, he's making himself hard to tackle. He runs hard. I mean, those smaller guys, you know, it takes a toll on them, you know, and especially the amount of carries that we're adding up over the course of these games and being able to play with a lead and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, that physical aspect has been really good, and just consistently running like that. There's been glimpses of it, but really that's becoming who he is, which is great to see.
And for you as a play caller and coordinator and all that, when you have guys in and out like Logan's here and then he's not, and Curtis is here and then he wasn't, and then he's back, what kind of challenges does it pose for you just in designing and crafting a game plan?
Yeah, I mean, it's just part of it. I mean, there's no excuses in this league, and everyone deals with injuries, and we gotta put our best product out there as far as the most capable offense we can. And I've gotten to know these guys over the course of the year, so I got a good feel for their skill set. So the guys that are available, we try to do what they do best, and obviously fit it within the scheme of our offense. But it's just one of the challenges, of the job. And but our guys have done a great job of adjusting. And then, you just got to trust these guys to go make plays, and guys have done that. I mean, you look at some of the plays John Bates has made over the past couple of weeks, going from not playing very much at all, and obviously Ricky earlier in the year, and now hopefully we'll be getting Ricky back, and there's a lot of examples of that.
Scott, there are quarterbacks who are far more established than Taylor, who at the end of games maybe don't step up the way that he seemingly has over and over again for you guys, even after he makes a mistake, is able to come back. What does it say to you about a guy like that he's able to, despite limitations or inexperience, is able to step up in those clutch moments?
Yeah, I mean, I just think he plays each play one at a time, and when you do that, it never becomes, quote unquote too big. You're just executing the situation that we've gone over a bunch of times. I mean, I think back to moments in practice. He's had a really good 2-minute drills against our defense, and those things get heated and competitive, and you try to make it as much as you can. Obviously, that's not like a game, but this is I think it's the third time that we've driven down the field, either got a game-winning field goal or touchdown, and then we took the lead in the fourth quarter in one other game or something. But he just stays within himself, and takes what's there. I mean, obviously, there was a couple of risky plays that we got, went our way. But I don't think I think his secret, and I don't know, maybe he'll tell you different, but he just doesn't make it more than it is. He's just out there playing ball and trying to find completions and, scrambling when he needs to. And we talk all the time in those 2-minute drills, especially at the end of the game. Like we have the advantage. We know we got 4 downs, so you get an extra down. So if the play's not there, find an incompletion and just move on to the next one. And completions are huge. And then we've done a nice job with our timeout situation. So we've of not using them early in the half. So we've been able to, be clock friendly.
And on the other hand, he had the one interception in the fourth quarter, and then it was another one that was close to that. What did you kind of see on those throws?
The first one, he got maybe a little deep in the pocket. That was really the only mistake. He's throwing the ball on time, and his arm gets hit. I mean, so his arm gets hit. You can't follow through the ball. He wasn't. I know people like to joke about him throwing sometimes, but he can throw the ball, and that ball was not. That's not where he was trying to throw it. Obviously, it floated up to the right, and I mean, every quarterback in this league has thrown some picks, and unfortunately, that one came not at a great time. But like you said, we responded.
Ron seems to have a new phrase recently about falling in love with the 3- and 4-yard runs. What does that mean to you, and then how important are those, even if they aren't maybe racking up big yardage?
Yeah, I mean, 3- and 4-yard runs aren't bad. Anything, you average over 4 yards a carry, it's pretty good. I think, the line likes it. I think they like coming off the ball. They like setting their pads. I like the fact that, we make people play blocks. We make people tackle. You wear down the defense. I think that's been pretty evident in some of our games, the way the defense is played late in games, specifically looking at the Carolina game and the Seattle game. The other thing about that, with these runs is like we've been able to play with a lead. We've been able to get out to a lead. Now, obviously, we gave it back in the Raider game, but in the other games, we never did. So and when you're doing that, and then the third part of this, and we talked about it last week, and it's probably the most important, is we've been converting third downs. So when you convert whatever we convert, 58% of our third downs, you feel a lot better about running the ball. So. Again, I mean, if we're getting 3-4 yards, I'll take that. It's the zeros and the negatives that kind of throw you off your rhythm.
You're up in the booth. Can you kind of notice when a defense is wearing down in the third or fourth quarter, and that's when you know to step on the gas even more?
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell. I mean, we've had obviously some long drives, so when you get late into those drives, that kind of gives our guys some life. You see the way that guys are finishing blocks. The ball carriers falling forward. Maybe instead of 4, it's 6. You know what I mean? And those are the kind of the things that that you look for.
Scott, with with Logan down again, what do you need from your tight end specifically in terms of run blocking if you're playing the 12 personnel, and how can they kind of continue what you're talking about?
I think Logan really had been out. Obviously, we just got him back, for the last 2 games, and the emergence, John's done an outstanding job blocking, and Ricky really did a nice job blocking too before he got hurt. Obviously, John's a little bigger, so a little bit more physical presence between the two of those guys. And then Sam's been playing well, and he's a big physical guy as well. So that part of it, I'm not worried about as much as just the playmaking ability that Logan brings. But that's all those guys are gonna have to step up. I mean, John's got 18-yard catch and a 22-yard catch under his belt, and then obviously the things that Ricky was able to do. So those guys prepare, they're professionals, and they bring it, so they'll be ready to go and step up in that spot. You hate it when you lose a guy, obviously, but again, it's unfortunately part of the deal.
And after, how many games is this now? 12 games for Heineke as a starter. Is there anything that's different to you that you see?
I think just understanding the grind of it, the week in and week out, and just to take it one play at a time, and not get too overwhelmed when it's good or when it's bad, and just the resiliency that he brings, and that really he's shown over this win streak of that if something bad happens, we can push through it, and we can fight through the adversity. I think he's continuing to become a better and better decision maker, and I think it's just from experience of seeing different things. But and some of his leadership's coming out too, because he's getting more comfortable, playing with the guys around him.
Going against Mike Parsons and the possibility of the Cowboys having their top 3 pass rushers back for Sunday, what sort of challenge does that pose for you guys?
Yeah, those guys. Micah Parsons is an explosive pass rusher, and he does it from a lot of different spots. So having the crosshairs on him, and we got to make sure we know where he's at all times, and it's not a one-man job, and it's it's a group effort to make sure we're affecting him, and we can't let him blow up the game. And then they got the other guys too, Randy Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, all those guys, and we gotta help with different guys. It's not just the line, and we'll have a plan for those guys. We're not gonna let them ruin the game. Quarterback's got to make decisions quickly, get the ball out of his hand. But whenever you play a team that's got a violent pass rush like that, like they're a huge priority, and something that we got to be ready for.
What do you make of the offensive rhythm you guys have been able to get in after the bye? And as a receiver, when you might not be seeing as many targets as you're used to, how do you kind of stay involved?
Yeah, I think we've done a really good job, or a better job, of executing on third downs, which I think we struggled with early in the season, finishing drives with touchdowns. I think we've done a lot better job as well. I think it came from just putting more eyes on that, just being more locked in onto those periods of practice, and trying to execute those gotta have it situations. And I think it comes down to the execution on Sundays too, being able to, because we've been stopped on third down too, but I don't think it's hindered the way we are still trying to attack on third downs. And when we get in the red zone, we still have an aggressive mindset. And just for myself, I just continue to try to be ready for whatever targets I do get, and go from there, really.
When you have success on offense, like you're saying, you don't get hindered when you get stopped. Is that something where maybe before, if you get stopped, it's like, okay, this is consistently happening, we got to look at what we're doing, whereas now you have maybe more confidence in sticking with whatever you were doing before?
Yeah, I think it's tough, but I also think you got to give the defense the credit too, because they're getting stops as well. So it allows us to be able to kind of regroup and be able to figure out on the sidelines what we could do better, and when we get in those situations again. And I think what I've noticed is we're getting a lot more manageable third downs. It's a little easier to convert 3rd and 5s, 3rd and 4s, 3s versus 3rd and 9s, 10s, and longer. So I think, we're not having as many self-inflicted of problems, and, that just allows us to be more comfortable and open up the playbook more for 3rd and manageable.
Who is the most competitive person in this locker room?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I'm trying to sit here and think. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. That's a good question.
Another random one, but
Mhm.
Landon Collins, you guys go against him in practice.
Mhm.
Just his versatility. What does he bring to the defense and,
Yeah.
and the team as a whole?
Yeah, Landon's a vet. I feel like he has a lot of confidence in his ability. He knows what he does well, and he plays with a lot of confidence. And I feel like that gives the other guys confidence around him. A guy who's been in the league for as long as he has and has had success. When you see him in the backfield making plays, you know what I mean. He gets up and he's dancing or doing whatever he's doing. That just gives confidence to everybody around him.
Most competitive?
I probably say I would say I'm up there. Like I definitely say I'm up there, but I'd probably say John Allen. John Allen's pretty competitive in like every single thing. Like it seems like he's always not into it, but like he always has some type of back and forth with somebody in the D line or talking about Alabama. Like you've been long gone from Alabama and you ready to fight because people think, Georgia was going to win. But I think John Allen is probably definitely number one.
Okay.
What have you noticed you've been around a lot of offensive coordinators going back to high school. What have you just noticed the way that Scott approaches the game plan each week and what kind of like insight does he give you when he's coaching you up and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I think he wants to be balanced, but I feel like what we're doing a really good job of is just sticking with what's working. I feel like, we have, especially in that first drive of the game, we had a really good mix of run and pass. And, it's not just inside zones, it's outside zones. It's toss cracks. It's all types of just a plethora of things that defense have to account for. And then I think we use motion to our advantage a lot, especially when we got the type of playmakers we have in our backfield. And then we have pass catching backs as well. So we have a lot of different moving parts within our offense, but I feel like we do a good job of trying to marry it together. So certain formations don't necessarily give away pass or run, and you can kind of still be on the attack.
How does motion help the run game? Because
Yeah, I mean, I think motion, it just really plays with the defender's eyes, especially those linebackers. When you see a guy like DeAndre, myself, who else? Curtis, and other guys we have that touch the ball, you see them moving around in motion. You gotta account for that. And it could be a jet sweep, it could be a fake, it could be anything. So you just it's something you have to always just be on the lookout for.
Well, one of Ron's things this week has been asking fans to come to the game and,
Yeah.
and get a sellout crowd, which you guys haven't had this year. What would your message be to the fans about just the importance of it from your perspective as a player?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily think about, the past, but this is a good week to have that. So hopefully we can have that this week.
Last year, you and Trayvon Diggs had some fun going back and forth when
Yeah.
you guys were playing. Trayvon's had a really great season so far this year. Are
Right.
you excited to match up with him again?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a really good player. I thought that last year as well. One of the things I liked about his game is he's really competitive, and I'm a competitive person too, so it makes for a fun game. I don't know if he necessarily travels as much, so I'm preparing to go against Brown as well. But I mean, he's a dude who does a good job of getting his hands on a lot of balls, and I think he has a good understanding of how receivers try to get open because he has that receiver background. So I'm looking forward to just competing again against him.
What have you seen? Well, first of all, who's the least competitive person in the locker room?
I would even if I knew I wouldn't do him like that. I wouldn't tell on him like that.
So, what have you seen from Antonio since the bye?
Yeah.
Have you seen a different guy out there at all?
I think he's just really focused on making sure he's protecting the ball first. I think, the way he's practicing carrying the ball, the way he's running with it in the game, he's trying to just make sure that ball is the most important thing. But his confidence has stayed up. He's able to make guys miss. He's, like I said, his run after contact all year has been really, really good. I think that's been one of the biggest steps in his game from year one to year two. And just his running style, I feel like it just weighs down on the defense. You know what I mean? And he has the ability to be able to break one for 15, 20 or more. But just his consistency of being able to run behind his pads, break those tackles, you got to make a decision on each and every play to come and be physical with him. And I think he's a physical back, which not only helps him, but it helps all of us and it helps our run game.
And then with Curtis, have you seen signs the last couple weeks that like this is the guy that I know, this guy's getting ready to be able to do more?
Yeah, I mean, I think our coaches are just trying to do a good job of making sure that he can handle that workload. But I know just personally, he's ready to continue just trying to continue to add to our offense. I feel like each week we have more and more for him to be involved in, and I know that it's going to continue. And he's a guy who can really help us offensively, catching the ball, being out the backfield, and all the things that he can do. So I'm looking forward to see how much he continues to help us down this stretch because we're going to need it.
Terry, what has Adam Humphries done for this offense? How maybe does he help you out on the field?
Yeah, I mean, I think every team or every receiver room needs a player kind of like Adam Humphries, and not just a slot guy, but a guy who has that veteran savvy, who knows how to get open. You trust that he's going to do his job. Like, you don't even have to worry about is he studying film? Is he going to be in his right spot when the game's on the line, because he just always does it. And he doesn't say too much, and he's not too flashy, but he always gets his job done. And that just gives you a security as another teammate in the room. And I'm sure it gives our Coach Turner and Taylor confidence as well to be able to call his number. And you see, over the course of the game, he may not have a lot of big plays, but when it counts the most, 2-minute drives, third down situations, he's always coming through. So I'm really glad to have him on our side. And it's kind of cool to see a guy who's been around different places and trying to get into his mind and see how he views the game and defenses and how to get open. Because sometimes I'm in the slot and I could use those type of tips that he uses because he's primarily in the slot.
Weirdly enough, Taylor Heineke starting 11 games is by far the most you've worked with a single quarterback in your career. Have you noticed ways and maybe how your chemistry with him has grown as you've gotten consistent 11 straight weeks with him?
Yeah, I think it's unique that we're finally able to kind of get a rhythm together. I haven't necessarily been able to have that all the way through, but at the same time, I think he makes my job easy in the sense that he's always going to give you a chance. So you have that. He has that confidence in me, and I have that confidence in him. And just his ability to be able to extend those plays has really helped our whole wide receiver group, not just myself, because a big part of being productive as a receiver is also you see guys who are able to make plays when the play breaks down. So I think just working with him is just continue to try to get those reps in practice and make it look good in the game.
Getting on the field yesterday, today, getting better at just getting the feel for it is the biggest thing for me. Got some insoles. I needed insoles. It was better. It was a better day today, pretty much.
Does a game like this week, Dallas, division game, division race on the line, does this mean more for you to try to get back, or do you just have to view it one game at a time, take care of your body?
I'm being smart about it. Definitely I want to get back. I mean, it's Dallas week. This game kind of is two for us. And I'm, just trying to be a part of the team and be a part of that win. It'd be great. But also, within doing so, I got to be smart for myself, because if I go out there this week and get hurt or stress out even more, now I miss the next couple weeks when all our last division games are at the back of our schedule. So from that standpoint, I honestly just want to stick to it, take it day by day, and just be smart about it.
What exactly did you do to your foot?
I would say the way I describe it is almost just basically stepped on. But my midfoot got stepped on and just couldn't put the pressure on it like I wanted to.
So how was it when we saw you out there today? You had to come over the side a little bit and went back out there. Did you have to fix the insoles or something like that? What was it uncomfortable?
Yeah, so it's right now just getting it comfortable, getting the feel for it, because like I said, it was this really was one of the first time this was my first day putting the insoles in. And just figuring out how to tie my foot, because the bruise still on top of my foot is kind of aggy right now. But on top of that, I'm doing good.
You got to watch the defense play last week. What stood out to you watching them?
They flew around. They swam to the ball. We got off the field on third downs again. We got our offense back the ball as many times as we can, especially in that fourth quarter to get the win. It was much needed, and them boys stood up to the task.
Jonathan Allen's had a really good year right from the start. What's kind of stood out to you both as a player, but also as a guy in the locker room and a leader?
Of John? as a player, he does what he does. I've been at Bama with him. He knows what he's capable of. He's pushed himself to the limit, and he doesn't take no for no reason. As a leader, he pushes us to the limit. He's making everybody else accountable himself, and making sure that if he's not playing or somebody else is in his position, that they are in tune on what's supposed to be looking for, what they need to do, and how to get back there and make plays. So he's big on that.
We talk a lot about the 3 safety set that you guys are able to play with. Is that unique to you guys, and what does it allow you to do with the versatility that you guys have back there?
Is it unique? I would say yes. I would say you got 3 safeties on the field that can play anywhere on the field. That's the best part about it, because you got guys that understand the game. You got guys that fly around and can make tackles and also cover. Within doing so, it makes other teams can't get just on what we want to do or where we going at, how we're aligning, where this person can go, where this person can be doing, if this person can be playing over the top or this person is dropping down. I mean, you get a sense of it when you see me somewhere, but majority of the time we got it kind of mixed up to a T right now.
What is preparing for a week like for you when you're in so many different spots? Do you have to learn the game plans of linebackers, DBs, even the line, or?
No, it's very simple because we know what our defense is, and we put the scheme to match what we do best. And we really not changing much. We might put a person here, but he's still doing the same job. If that makes sense.
Back to John. Terry called him the most competitive guy in the locker room.
I don't know about all that. Oh, competitive guy in the locker room.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Do you take issue with that label, or what do you agree with it? Or who would you say?
Competitive guy in the locker room would be I'll put my bets on Tim Settle. I would say regardless of if any situation he's trying to outwork John or Payne or any D lineman that's over there. That's what he does. You can hear him from a mile away, especially if he wins. And if he loses, he's still talking and want a rematch. He's a steady worker, same as John, but him and Tim are up there for sure. Anything and everything. They compete over everything. We all compete over everything. So it doesn't matter. It could be marbles. it doesn't matter. Whew. I was in middle school. It was the first thing that popped in my head. So yeah, competition-wise. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Landon, have you noticed that the crowds have been a little down this year? And do you feel like playing Dallas, being in the playoff hunt, that you guys have a chance, to maybe re-energize the fans this week?
With the crowd, we have loyal fans. They do a great job. The ones that are there, they're the ones that are supporting us. If we get more fans, it'd be great. We need them. They make our adrenaline go crazy. They excite us. So if it's packed, it's packed. We love it. If it's mediocre, we still love it because we got our support, and that's all we need.